There we go. Right. I hate computers sometimes. Oh my God, stop it.
She's ours. She's not for sale.
Oh, I so want a dog, and my husband keeps going, no. We had two and they tied us down a lot, and I love that. When you're on your own a lot in the house, especially when I'm not well, dogs were just...
They're just company. They know as well when you're not feeling right.
Yeah,
they do.
I couldn't walk them too much, so I trained them to run around and come back.
Yeah. She's gorgeous. So she's hopefully going to be the same as her mum, who's really good at walking next to me. So if I'm in my wheelchair instead of with my sticks, she's really good at just walking next to me without a lead.
So right.
The Monty, the dad, is hopeless, absolutely hopeless. But this one, I'm hoping will be similar and be really good.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
Hello, Chris.
Good morning. Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Zoom. I think everything's playing up today. It's the atmosphere.
It's raining so much.
It's raining and nothing works. Okay, we're going to make a start because these are sort of quick and
let me put these
on the ball. They're being recorded, so I will put them in the community bit I've set up, blah, blah, blah. Right, so today we're looking at the solution and how you frame solutions to a problem. So I have a very quick thing to share with you as I talk it through, and then we'll start with questions. So bear with me a second. Oh no, I'm on the wrong page. Stop that. I've really got to get grips with doing things quickly. Right, there we go. We're going to present. Standard. Come on, do your job. Do your job. Why is it not doing its job? It's a good job I don't actually have to do anything about technical stuff, because I would be rubbish at that. So, deep dive on solutions. So, some people get confused and they think, well, as long as I've got the solution, I must know what the problem is. And it's a bit like chicken and eggs. It doesn't always work like that. Some solutions are pretty obvious, you know. I've got very big, well, I haven't, but if I had very big feet, like clown feet, I'd want clown shoes. And so the solution is obvious. You know, you create shoes that will fit big feet. Other ones aren't so obvious. So when you're talking about things like therapies, marketing sometimes, let me put her in, it can become a little bit more confusing if you only concentrate on the solution and again, how you frame that solution. So let us move on to, see, I'm using Canva for presentations. It's absolutely brilliant. So you'll frame the solution depending on these four things. So how they feel. They have to be ready to solve the problem. So when you frame a solution for someone who goes, yeah, I can't do this anymore, I can't live like this anymore, or I'm making no money, I don't understand marketing, social media is driving me nuts. That's a fairly easy one because people are ready and they'll go looking for you, you hope. The other thing is this understanding, they have to trust that you understand the problem and that the solution fits. So they have to trust that you have that solution. There we go. Another one in here today. Good morning for those of you who just joined us. We're just going through framing solutions, and then we're going to really look at how your solutions frame. So understanding, so they have to understand. So when you're looking at doing posts or blogs or answering questions, they have to know that your solution will work for them. Because I don't know about you, but I have been on more strategy calls and I've had hot dinners, certainly than I've been out due COVID. And I haven't trusted probably 99% of them to truly understand and have a solution that works for me. The other way is when you frame the solution, it's about the journey. They have to be able to see that journey. They have to be able to see what's at the end, because that's what they're buying. They're not buying to be in the middle of the solution. They are always looking at the end, although there's a process that you'll go through and the steps. The client, whatever they're buying, they are looking at the end of that journey. Not at the beginning, not in the middle, at the end. So again, simple thing, big clown shoes so that I can go dancing. If it's a stress thing and resilience and all of that, they're looking to the point where they don't have that stress and they are resilient and they can live the life they want to live. Me in marketing, I'm always looking at the end and going, can somebody make that marketing work, because I can't. I don't necessarily want to come into the middle of it. So some people, it's about they need to see the journey. And then the other thing is the solution must create an emotional response, because that's when people buy, that's when people trust, and that's when you finally have the fish on the hook. Okay. And that emotional response may come because you have been where they've been, and they can heave a sigh of relief that you understand, you've got the solution because you've been there and done it. It could be an emotional thing about, oh my God, I can see how that journey works. I can see where I can be. I don't have to stay like this forever. It may be instant with, absolute euphoric joy that somebody says, I'll do your marketing for you and it won't cost a fortune. And I would be going, thank God for that. So these emotional responses can go from anything from that sort of absolute elation that someone's going to do it for you and you don't have to worry about it, right up to that emotional response of somebody understands me, there's empathy, I can trust, I can share, I can let all this go and be better at the end. So framing your solution in understanding. So we did problem last week. So anybody who hasn't seen that, I'll make sure you'll get a link to the copy. But when you look at the problem, we looked at the different ways people have those problems and if they're problems. That solution frame has to fit how the problem comes out. Okay, the two have to go hand in hand in a way, because someone's going to go, oh my God, yeah, I've got that problem, I get it. Oh, they understand. And then when you go on and offer that sort of stuff, take me for example. I work with a lot of people who are terrified of speaking in public. It's a problem for them. And they know they have to speak in public. And what they're looking for is actually confidence to speak in public. Because actually anybody can stand up and speak to a crowd of people. It's people wanting to be confident, they want to be clear, they want to know how to get over the fear. So solutions for me are not about saying to people, oh, I'm an expert coach and I can coach you to speak in public. 9 times out of 10, people won't get it, they won't believe it. There's no point me framing it like that. If I frame it in the sense of the 6-step program I do, and I show them the journey and the things they have to sort of cover that will actually get rid of a lot of the fear, it will help with the planning, it will help with them standing up, they'll know what to say. I can talk to people who are ready to take that journey. I can talk to people who are going, I've got to speak, and their emotional response to public speaking is actually becoming a phobia. And they're asked to speak and they feel sick and they get nervous and they go, I'm going to forget it, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And this tends to happen when people have to pitch ideas or they pitch for funding. So it's a have to. They can't get away with it. They have to do it. And when I talk to them about how we can release some of that fear and how we can make them more confident, their emotion then becomes, so I talk to their emotion about how would you like to feel confident about giving that speech, to not have to worry, to not be sick, to not break out in hives and everything else. So I will frame it differently depending on who I'm talking to, which is a module we'll do later on, who you're saying it to. So it's all about the words. Words actually help you with that solution. So there are words like we often say in our pitches, I can help you do this. Now, that could be interpreted as they will hold my hand and they will talk me through it and they will get me there, and actually they become, well, in some cases that might be true, but in a lot of times it isn't. And the more money somebody has to pay for something, the less they want your help. What they actually want is for you either to show them how to do it or do it for them. So if you say, I can help get your social media more visible, is a different solution to, I will show you how to create better posts to become more visible. See the difference in what you're actually saying to someone?
Yes, yes.
I'll teach you how to, I'll coach you how to, I'll mentor you how to. Help is a really passive word. And it doesn't instill a lot of confidence in people. Sometimes it does. I'm not saying it doesn't always, but sometimes it does. And again, it depends on the audience you're talking to. So if you're talking about pain management, for instance, we talked about this as somebody's problem, and your solution is to help them in your head, help them sort of manage their pain or manage their lives or live the life they want to live. If you're talking to people that are really entrenched in maybe a self-help group who are really, help is a good word because it's not scary. If someone says to me, now I have fibromyalgia, so I understand chronic pain, but if somebody says to me, I will help you, I don't want you to help me, I can help myself. I want you to show me or tell me or point me in the right direction. So that's why it's really, really important about words. Other words that can trip you up when you talk about a solution is when you say to people, I will take you on a journey. I love the phrase, I can take you on a journey to achieve whatever happens at the end. But you have to know what's going on in people's heads when they hear that. And some people, they hear the word journey and suddenly it seems too complicated, it's too long, it just scares them, because in their head, they may have tried all sorts of things and gone on all sorts of journeys and they just don't want another one. But if you say to somebody, I'll get you to the first step, getting to where you want to be, it's not so scary. Suddenly it's achievable. So when you think about the solution you're offering to someone, it has to be something that they can listen to and go, I can achieve that. Because if they don't think they can achieve it, they're not going to sign up. And I think that happens a lot. And again, I don't know about you, but all those people that go, I'll have you earning, 7 figures and you're a millionaire and all of this in the next however long. And I listen to them. Again, a lot of the time, in my head, I'm going, no, it's not achievable. I don't know if it is because I don't sign up for it. I don't find out. In my head, no, it's not achievable. I'm not going to be making, £50,000 a month in the next 3 months. Not achievable. So you have to understand that audience and the way they're thinking when you start putting those words together. Okay, so where are we now? This is how quick these things do. So these are some of the questions you need to ask yourself when you're putting together, I don't know, it could be a pitch, it could be your elevator pitch, it could be speaking, workshop, anything. The question you have to ask yourself is, what is the difference? What will the difference be after I've given them the solution? So you have to know how people are feeling before and how they're going to feel at the end. Because people don't often see how they can feel at the end. They just know where they are now. Again, when you talk about therapies and things, 9 times out of 10, it's to that point where someone really can't live that the way they're living anymore and they want to move on. But they have to know there's going to be a difference. They have to know there's going to be a positive. So ask yourself that question. What's going to be the difference after I give them the solution, your solution, as opposed to somebody else's solution? Because bear in mind, a lot of people do the same thing. There are a lot of marketing experts out there. There's a lot of accountants out there. There's a lot of, but they will tackle a problem in a different way. You all will tackle problems in different ways. And you will all have different audiences. You will have different ways. So think of it from your point of view. Think about, where are they and where will they be? And then ask yourself, would a 10-year-old understand that when I explain it? Because if you get too complicated with explaining that solution, we listen emotionally and it goes in, it has nanoseconds to make sense to somebody and nanoseconds for them to either go, wow, that's amazing, or yeah, right, and they've shut down. So practice on a 10-year-old. If a 10-year-old understands what you're saying, perfect. So it has to be easy to understand. So for me, I go, there are 6 steps to speaking confidently. There, know the problem, know the solution, and they're all very simple words. I could get really clever and talk about engaged, interactive communication through this. By that time, they've all gone, what? What's she saying? What's she talking about? So when you're speaking to someone, it's not about dumbing it down, it's just about using simple language. Third thing to ask yourself, how sustainable is the solution? Now this one, somebody asked me once, I don't understand what you mean. What do you mean sustainable? It's around, for me, 6 steps. That's the solution. You take the 6 steps, you can do it in 6 months, it's done. If I go to a psychiatrist, or I go to my therapist, or I go somewhere else, that could last 3 years because the solution isn't sustainable. I've got used to just whinging at someone every month and going along, and they're taking my money. And okay, that might work for some people, but do ask yourself, how sustainable is that solution? Because for some people, they might want it short, sharp and quick. Just cure me. Just fix my marketing. Just do my Facebook post. Just create an advert that works. And other people might be, you know, I need to get out of this pain. I need to follow those steps. I need to do this. I need to do that. But there's an end point that, you know, that they get to. There may be then another bit, but there has to be an end point. So how sustainable is that solution for your clients? And how are they going to trust your solution? Because if they don't trust it, they're not going to buy it. So really ask yourself that question. So is it because you've been there, lived it, done it, written the book, got the t-shirt? Is it because you're an expert in your field and you've talked to lots of people and that, you know, you've helped them grow and you've got all these testimonials? Is it because they like you? You're really fun to work with. Trust me, I've had people come to me and go, I like you, babe, you've got great energy, I'll work with you. Well, I'm like, oh, is that the only reason? Yeah, I know you get results, but that's why. So really think about that. So how will they trust that you have that solution? And that is really, really important, because once you've got their trust and understanding, they are more likely to keep that relationship with you. They are going to buy from you, maybe not today, tomorrow, but they're going to maintain some sort of relationship with you because you get them. You understand. You know what needs to be done. You know when it needs to be done, how quick it needs to be done. Your solution is, you know, bam, bam, done. Yes, brilliant. It's not complicated. It's not in big No, I can't say that big word, so I'm not even going to bother. But it's clear. There's a clarity to it. There's not a sort of, well, I've done 3 months and I'm still spending, £1,000 a month, and I don't think I've moved any further because I really don't understand where I'm going. Now, they'll tell other people. They'll moan about it, they'll complain about it, and other people will go, oh, no, I want something that I really get and I understand. So it's really important that you know why they're going to trust your solution. Yeah, let me stop sharing for a moment. Okay, so reframing your solution will help you talk to the right people. So let me pick on somebody that I didn't pick on last week. We're going to do a quick Q&A now. So Chris, I'm going to pick on you. What solution do you offer to people?
It's one I've been working on quite recently, to be fair. I found out that through my peer coaching group sessions with who I qualified my coaching with,
yeah,
I seem to be able to give them a lot of confidence in themselves of moving forward with coaching. Because at the moment, a lot of my peers, they're stuck with converting potential connections into customers or clients. Right. So I've seen over the groups that we've had come together each month, as I said, I seem to give them a lot of confidence, or be able to push them in a way that gives them a more sense of belief in what they're trying to achieve.
Okay, so I'm going to assume then that the stage where they're going to come to you, they're not confident, they don't know what to do next, there's no clarity.
That's right, yes.
So how do they feel at the end of whatever you give them?
Yeah, again, that's where I'm going with, because I'm looking to market myself as a freedom and clarity coach. Okay. So that is a major point for me, being clarity. That's what I give them, a bit of clarity of where their next step is for them. Okay.
How do you do that?
Basically, I just ask a series of questions, really pinpointing to the fact of what is pushing them, with the purpose of what they're trying to look to do. If that makes sense. It
does, but it's a woolly solution. In terms of, because once you've got someone face-to-face, one-to-one, we all know that it's far easier because you can have a conversation with them.
Yeah.
But getting them from either, do workshops or speaking or your elevator pitch, that solution needs to be a lot clearer. So is there a process that you follow, or is it intuitive, this questioning?
Yeah, at the moment it's purely intuitive based, because I'm still working on building up a set program and stuff, because I only became a qualified coach in February, so I'm still early days of it.
Still one?
Yeah. So yeah,
trust me, there's a lot of coaches that aren't qualified to do anything. So in a way, your solution, if you look at it from a why will they trust me, what will it do, all of that, one of the things is that you probably have been unconfident in your coaching. So you sort of in your own head done this journey, asked yourself those questions. So your solution really is much more compact than that, in terms of you work with people to intuitively understand where they are and where they want to go. Or words to that effect. And keeping it that simple means exactly people go, well, that's interesting. I need to go and chat to him. So it's keeping that clear, because if you say to people, my solution is, you're pitching, and the problem is that coaches don't have the confidence to grow or to really take their business forward. And then you start saying, well, I'll ask you lots of questions and we'll have a chat, and then, we'll find out. Already we're going, oh, I've done that with so many people. I've done that at the round table. I've done that at the peer-to-peer board. It's not working. But by saying to someone, actually, I have an intuitive process of how I question to find out where you are now and where you want to go, and put steps in place to get you there, you've got a creative solution. Suddenly it makes sense. It's like, oh, good, I've got a journey to follow, or I've got some steps I can do, or he understands, he's been there and he's done this and he's got there. So does that make sense? So really think about how you're framing that solution at the beginning bit, to hook people into going, I've got to go and talk to Chris. He knows how I'm feeling, and And look at him, he's really confident now. He's, you know, so don't say I've only just, ever. You are a freedom and clarity coach. Otherwise, I'll never believe you. Bear that in mind. You have to be what you do.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, Annette.
Good morning, Bev.
Good morning. What solution do you offer?
Well, I empower professional women to stand their ground in the workplace. What that actually means is that I support women who've been bullied in the workplace. It's something that I have had personal experience of, and it's also what's motivated me to train and qualify as a life coach.
Okay. So do you specifically work with women who have been or are being bullied in the workplace? When they come to you, do they feel that
Yes.
they're being bullied, or feel that they're being undermined, or feel that they can't?
Yes, they feel that they just can't stand up to the person who's
Okay, okay.
their confidence is basically rock bottom. And
Okay,
I've been through all this, so I understand what it's like.
yes. So when you're talking about your solution, I'm going to ask you to consider the word bully if you're speaking absolutely at the beginning, because of mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm, you know, I'm not saying you shouldn't use the word bully. I'm just wondering, when you first talk to people and you talk about so the problem for them is that they feel undermined, they feel like they are being bullied, they feel all this.
I think my strapline is, you know, saying, and I know it doesn't, and even though it doesn't specifically, you know, it doesn't mention the word bullying, is, you know, stand your ground in the workplace.
And that's it. I think that is so.
Yeah.
How do you get them to stand their ground? Because if you think about it, if you've been there, and if somebody had said to you right when it was at its worst, you know, just stand your ground, or would you have believed them?
At that point, probably not.
And that's the point where you want to, so in a way, they will be able to stand their ground. So that's the end of the journey. That's where they're aiming to be, to have that confidence and power to stand their ground and be who they are authentically.
Yeah.
So what happens, what do you do in the middle to get them there?
Well, first of all, I'm trying to find out where they are at the moment and where they want to be.
Okay, so a bit like,
and also talk about, you know, I mean, my program, I'm going to tweak it a little bit. At the moment, it's a sort of 6-step program. Also about how they, you know, find out what values they have, you know, and how to use those values to set boundaries.
then your solution is, whether it's 6 or 8 steps, it is the program that will show them how to increase their confidence, how to understand boundaries, to understand their values. That's the solution, so that they then can stand their ground in the workplace.
Right. Let me. That's
the result.
Because understand values.
Yeah.
So I need. Yeah, I need to tweak my LinkedIn and Facebook bio a bit to incorporate those words.
Absolutely, because we often think the result is the solution, and it isn't. It's the result. The solution is how you get to the result.
Yeah, understand setting, because I think a lot of people, and when it was happening to me, I think I understood it to a degree, but a very low degree. You know, that principle of setting boundaries. But
it's like being on the outside of the tornado, isn't it? You just need to stand in the middle for a little while and catch your breath to understand, because any form of bullying, it messes with your head anyway, but certainly women in executive workplaces, you know, and often it's women on women, because sometimes women bosses can be a bit,
oh, I know,
scared of competition, especially coming from another woman. Like that.
I think women bosses tend to feel more insecure in their positions than men do, because unfortunately there's still a lot of you know, women aren't always recognized.
Absolutely. So your solution is the program that covers whatever, so that at the end of it they can stand in, you know, in their place, and further their career or wherever it is they, you know, get a promotion, whatever it may be.
Take the next step, you know, that
Yeah.
that could even also be have the confidence, if they don't want to stay where they are because it's too toxic, have the
Absolutely.
confidence
Yeah.
to apply
It's about knowing
for the
themselves.
job where
Yeah.
where they're being recognized for their talents.
Absolutely. So just think about how you're wording that in terms of the problem is this, they're being bullied.
Mhm.
Solution is the program. The result is standing their ground.
Yes.
And it's a bit the same for you, Chris. They start here, there's a process, they
Mhm.
end up here.
Yeah. That's been very useful. Thank you so much,
No
Bev.
worries, no worries. Paula! Can't hear you. You're muted, my darling.
Sorry, apologies.
That's
I
all
was
right. I'm
slightly
going to go
late.
into real meetings and just go, wait for someone to tell I'm muted. Okay, Paula, your solution.
Well, although I help people with chronic fatigue and fibromyalgia, I want to get to people beforehand. So
Right.
I want to support women to avoid burnout and
Okay.
stress by valuing their self-care.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you get someone to value their own self-care?
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I was just because they're notoriously bad at it. So it was interesting listening actually to Annette. So saying, yeah, you've got to understand their values and their boundaries. So showing them how to understand their own values and put boundaries in place to
Yeah.
protect their own self-care.
Because in a way, you're working with the people that don't get quite as bad as when Annette takes them. if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
You're preventative.
Yeah.
So you're saying to people who are going into high-level jobs or even who are going into stressful situations, this is what could happen. However, if you do it may not.
Yeah.
Because you can't ever say it won't.
Yeah. It may not.
It has to be it may not. Then bonus if it but everybody's different, and you have to be careful in words about legal things, because if you say to somebody at the end of this 6-week program you will be able to, or you will be out of pain, and they're not, the first thing they're going to do is sue you. So that's another reason to be careful with words, especially things around health. I think it's Annette.
Again, this thing about language, I think, if you say something like this program is designed to, and then sort of give you the 6 steps. Because I think, especially with coaching, because, you're sort of asking questions, but you're actually facilitating them to find a solution. So that's saying, I'll guarantee you will be this, that, or the other. I'm saying this program is designed to do that, but it depends on how much work they themselves put in.
That's it. And it is about saying to people, and it may be this is one of the instances where help isn't such a bad word, in terms of I'll help you understand your own values and how they fit, or I'll help you understand why your boundaries are, in that respect, help isn't so bad. But actually telling someone, I'll show you why it could happen, or I'll show you why it is happening. That's a stronger reaction from someone, because they're going, oh right, you're going to show me. It's still helping them and they're still figuring it out themselves, but they've given themselves permission because you're going to show them. But the end result, you have to just be a bit careful around those words. Don't use the word guarantee when it comes to health. And so and it's more like, it's often you get people go, if you follow the program, it will. And I'm back to my mega people and those strategy calls that go, if you follow the program to the letter and actually just sell my program for me, you will make millions of dollars. Really. So just be careful about wording. So Tina.
Can I ask a question? If you sold it saying this is how I did, this is the program that I followed, is that then, because that's sort of killing 2 birds with 1 stone, isn't it?
That's creating a level of, they've been where I am, they understand, they've been through that journey, they're at the other end. And it's the same for you, Annette, you've been there and done that. So that gives it a level of authority.
And authenticity.
There's also then that emotional response. Now for you, Paula,
Mhm.
they're not necessarily going to have that emotional response of, I need to change my life now.
Yeah.
You have to get them to understand is, if they look at themselves now, they won't end up like that.
Yeah, because I've got
Whereas
a
at
like
net, they're
yeah.
there. So that
Yeah.
emotional thing is, I can't do this anymore. You know, I can't get another job. I feel useless. They've made me believe this, that, and the other.
Mm.
But for you, and probably you too, Chris, there's a level of, if you follow this program, I
Yeah.
will show you how. And then it's the negative bit, how not to. But what you're actually
Yeah.
saying, I will show you how to be more confident. I will show you how to recognize your boundaries and keep them. I will show you, because a lot of people do not understand what their values are. I'm
No.
always staggered by the amount of people that don't start with, what are my own true values? And how does that affect me in my life?
Mhm.
And I know, I bet a bet for you and others is, once people get that bit, it becomes easier because they've got something to hook all of that on.
Yeah, because I've got an early warning checklist that I can go with them and go, you tick that then.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you tick most of those, I can tell you are borderline chronic fatigue.
Yeah, you're on that
pathway.
Slippery slope.
Yeah.
So-
And this is where you're going to go. Do you
Yeah.
really want to go that way?
Yeah. So you've got to concentrate on what is the solution, because you've got the result,
Mm-hmm.
but what is the process, the step for that solution? Tina, my darling, you just give them puppies, don't you? You've seen her puppies.
Oh, sorry. So Ray's back now, so they've gone off with Ray.
Aw.
I had it inundated. We've only got 2 left, and one's
See, I do
getting
that in
up.
chronic pain. I'd go around to Tina's and just sit there with the puppies.
Yeah.
That'll make me feel good for a day, but it's not sustainable.
No, because puppies grow.
So that's why that is sustainable. Right,
Yeah.
Tina, what's your
Yeah.
solution?
My solution is for helping, and I know it's the wrong word, but I think it sort of fits in with the context.
Okay.
People transform their lives around chronic pain. So people that are suffering from chronic pain, helping them to help themselves.
And how
So-
do you do that?
How do I do it? I've got a program, so a 6-week program that they can
This
follow.
program is the solution.
Yes,
Yeah, it's the result at the end. That's a
it's
result.
the transformation. Yeah.
See,
Gotcha.
really, it's just about understanding. It is an easy 3-step in a way, but you know, we get carried away in our own little worlds, and we want to convince people, but actually people want to know what the problem is, what that solution is, what that program is, and then what they're going to get at the end of it. How do you know? So I have a 6-step program. You can buy it by the module, or you can have all 6. And at the end of it, you will be speaking with more confidence and clarity. I'm not going to tell you you're a perfect speaker and you'll ever get called to do a TEDx, but you will be speaking with more confidence and clarity than when you started.
Mm.
And I can almost guarantee that, because it's a process. It's an understanding of. So for you now, you're going to find it much easier to say to somebody, for instance, Chris, when he stood up, you know, doing his elevator pitch, that, you know, he understands how coaches can lack confidence, especially when they're new coaches, they need to face this. And through his program, he ensures they take this journey through intuitive questioning, whatever the wording may be, to become more confident. Now, knowing you can say that is a lot easier than standing up at an elevator pitch. Well, what I do is, you know, I work with coaches and I ask them lots of questions, because I know what it's like to be really, really unconfident. And then what we do is we can work together, and by this time they're all writing down what they're going to say next, because the brain hasn't clarified what you're saying to them. And we all know how, you know, the best of us will go on doing our elevator pitch, and 60 seconds turns into 20 minutes. And everybody's gone off to get a cup of tea anyway. People only want to hear what's going to benefit them. And I'm really sorry, that is true. The only time that doesn't work is if you're doing a TEDx, because then they're all there to hear the stories and things like that. But generally in business, people only want to know what's going to benefit them, how it's going to benefit them, and can they afford it? Can they invest in it? Is it worth the investment? And we all know that when you get to a pain point, I've said this a million times, if somebody said to me, I can guarantee I will cure you of fibromyalgia, and all you have to do is give me 1 kidney, £5,000, and dance around a tree naked, I would probably do it if I believed them. Because some pain points are so bad, people will do almost anything to recover from it. So it's about finding what is the pain point that makes somebody need my solution so that they can have this result at the end. And when I'm listening to anybody, I'm listening to when they say to me at the end. So if they say to me, you know, I can cure your fibromyalgia, I've shut down. Totally shut down. So I don't believe it, I don't trust it, I would be afraid of it, everything else. But it's someone like Paula or Tina who do say, I can show you ways to help with the pain, I can show you where it comes from, I can show you this, then I'm listening because I trust that. So that's the thing you have to really consider. And for you, Chris, you may go to, I don't know, small business federation thingamie meeting when you get lots of, sorry to say this, middle-aged men directors in their suits and things who think, again, I'm sorry to say this, Chris, a lot of men believe they are great speakers, so they get away with it. A lot of women don't believe they're great speakers because we've been told to keep quiet and just look pretty in the corner and not to brag. That's just the way it is. But if you're trying to talk to coaches who are never going to admit they're not confident about their speaking, you just have to find a different language coming in. So the solution is the same, but it might be if you want to grow your coaching business and you feel you're being held back by something, I can intuitively work with you through this program of questioning to get you here to grow your business. Now, it may be confidence, but they're never going to admit it. They may not even realize it. So sometimes we have to know their problem before they do, or find a way for them to safely be able to go, yeah, I'm going to do that, without having to admit to anybody that maybe they aren't confident or they aren't this or they don't have the skills. So, you know, people are tricky. The way we think is tricky. But if you're really clear about your solution, when you change the wording, it doesn't matter. When you know who you're speaking to, it doesn't matter. You're very clear what you do, what your solution is, and what the result is. Any questions from anybody? All
No,
happy
that's
with
really
that?
clear.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thank you.
That's today's deep dive. Do spread the word if anybody else wants to deep dive. Next week, we're doing the solution today. Next week, we're doing what you really do. So, for instance, I'm going to say to Paula, pain management, whatever, is not what you do. Annette, working with women in this, you know, the program you use is not what you do. Same with you, Chris. You have tools that you use. That's the program, a number of therapies, a number of ways, they're tools. So for me, I help people, I show people how to speak with confidence and clarity by following my 6-step program, understanding where the terror comes from public speaking, practice, practice, practice. So all the things I use are a list of tools to get people to that result. So that's what we're going to look at next week, what you really, really do, not what your job title and your job description is, because that's not what people buy. It's like, say, an accountant, and I will tell the story of my lovely accountant when I first started, and I said, what do you do? I'm an accountant. Okay, so what does that, and we went through the questioning and it turned out she loved to work with alternative groups. She didn't want to wear a suit that accountants she thought had to wear, all the rest of it, and she was the one who helped people who had a shoebox full of receipts, and she became the finance fairy who did your books while you were asleep.
Like it.
She got so much business out of that from the people she wanted to work with, because suddenly she was the safe option. She was using language they understood. She was saying, yeah, give me your box full of receipts, you know, that's fine, I don't mind. So what you really do helps you then talk to the right people who go, yay, I get it. All right, so I will get the recording out to you. And same time next week if you want to, I will send out the link again as I have done. And do invite anybody else who wants to join us. So I will show you where last week's recording is, Chris and Annette. That might be useful because that we really looked at what is the problem. And sometimes you think what you think the problem is isn't the problem at all. Okay, All right,
problem. It's never really the
everybody
problem.
happy?
Yep.
Go and have a cup of tea and a bun and have a great weekend. Oh, we're not there yet, are we? It's only
Not
Wednesday.
quite, almost.
Hump Day Wednesday on the way down.
I'm going to sort my computer out now, Tina. Wonder why it's playing up. Okay. Bye, people.
Take care. Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi everyone.